What's up guys, this is Theo from Fino Concept, and today we are going to be looking at how to create a cartoon out of an image. So let's bring up Photoshop. We have this image from our previous episode. Now what I'm going to do is create a new group. I'm going to name the group lines. So I'll name it lines. Then I'm going to click over right here, right click and select the line tool. My foreground color, I'm going to set it to black. Then my background color, it doesn't really matter. So the weight, I'm going to set it to about 5 pixels. Let me see how that looks. I think that is okay. So what I'm going to do today is use the line tool over these areas. So I'll click and drag over the borders. No, you know what, let's increase it to probably 10 pixels. So we use a much more thickness on the areas that are outside the body. So over here I'll click and drag, click and drag, click and drag. So let me just fast forward this. Okay, we are done with the borders. Now we have to go a little bit inwards. You notice these shapes creating over the layers panel. I could just hit on the first one, then with my shift key held I'll click on the last one. So holding down shift and clicking on the last one will select everything here. I right click and go to merge shapes. Then I could probably name this outlines. Okay, now for the innermost part, I'll reduce the weight of our line to probably 5 pixels. Then I'm basically going to do the same thing. So I'll click and drag over these portions. This is actually work. Now at the chin right here, I'm not going to draw over to this portion. I'm not going to create it to this portion. Just about here is okay. That's for the chin. Usually that's what you do. If you draw to that point, it looks like the head is separated from the body. So I'll take care of the hands, these portions as well. Let us okay, so I'll click on this and the last one, and I'm just going to merge this shape and name it inner outlines. I hope this thing makes sense. Then with the same size of the brush of the line 2, I'm going to draw over the lips. Hold on, the lips, I'm just going to draw over this portion. I won't make it end, just the lower lip. then this portion as well, up to here, then this portion as well. Then I'll reduce the weight to about 3 pixels. Then I'll draw over the upper lip. I notice I'm not making them end, just these parts are okay. Then the nose, take care of this part where the nostril is. Then over this portion as well. Then we move on to the eyes, where I'll draw basically everything. So over here, okay, then over here as well. Notice I'm not taking my time to do a perfect job because we are working against time. Okay, so this is what we have with the top layer selected, hold shift, merge shapes, and probably name this final art lines. Okay, so what I'll do is create a new layer on top of the main layer. Then with my paint bucket tool, I'm going to set the color to white, then hit OK. When I click, notice that this is what we've done so far. So let me hide this. Now we are going to take care of this part of the hands too. So with the line tool, also at 3 pixels, we draw over these portions of the hand. You have to make yours much perfect than mine is, because you have more time. So over these parts, you could also draw over these lines in the palm. So the more the body parts are faint, the smaller the weight of your line tool. Okay, fit to screen. I'll select these entire shapes and merge them. Okay, so the next thing we are going to do is coloring. So I'll create a new layer here. This part, you almost escaped me. So line 2, undo, click and drag, click and drag. Oh no, set to white. I used X on my keyboard to switch between the background and the foreground color. So X, notice that it changes right here. So Z to bring up my move tool. I think this is okay. So I'll select these layers and I'll merge them. Okay, so let's see how it's looking now. I think this is much better. So for the coloring, I'm going to highlight this layer. Let me name it colors. I'm going to bring up my brush tool, set it to hard, what's the name, then I'll zoom in here, the second preset. So I'll zoom in with my brush tool, about 50 pixels should be okay. Now brush over, just over the eye. I think 50 is too much, by 45. Okay, then this portion too, this is much better. So we have the eyes right now. Then what I'm going to do is, with this, I'm going to use the eyedropper tool, which is here. You could press I on your keyboard, then you select any portion of the body you want to use. So I probably will select here. So we now have this color selected, and I'll hit OK. So for the colors, I'm going to bring up my gradient tool, then I'll color over. You know what, let me merge this. Let me duplicate first. No, which you selected. Let me duplicate first, then I'll merge them. So we bring this on top of our lines group. So when I unhide everything, we are still working with this one. So I'll bring up my magic wand tool, then I'll click on the outer portion of this, then hit delete. Just this part, hit delete. So we've deleted that part of delete right here. Now always make sure that your lines are meeting. Mine wasn't, so I was deleting some part of the image I actually wanted to keep. So with the line tool set back to 10 pixel, I'm going to join this part. Okay, so now let's merge again, and we have that part joined. So with my 1 tool, okay, now this part is being selected. I could delete the background. So I'll click on this portion here, then change it to the gradient tool with the color I selected from the main image right here. Then I could just click, and that part is going to be affected. So Control D to deselect. I'll bring up the magic wand again, select this part, G to bring up the paint bucket tool. I'll color over that part, color over this part. So now I'm sure of where I'm clicking, so I could just click over. Then this part is also not closed, so I'll bring up my line to foreground color at set to black, then weight set to 3 pixel. I'm going to brush over this portion. Okay, it was actually 5 pixel to 5. I'm going to click and drag over this portion, then I'll merge these two. So now they are just one image. Then the paint bucket color set to black. I'll color the eyebrows and this eyebrow too. So this is the image we are getting. Now what we can do is we can click and drag this on top of the main image, then reduce the opacity to about 70. Let's do 80%, so that the main image will be merging with the image we've drawn, our cartoon effect right here. So if I set it to probably 70, notice that the image is showing more. So I'll use probably 75%, then hit OK. So this is the cartoon we are getting out of the image we are using. In the next tutorial I'll be showing you another effect, but I will not be using the line tool, we'll be using the pen tool. So I will see you guys in the next